on the Vince Everett Ellison Show. We're going to talk about some of the topics of the day. We're going to talk about Sarah McBride. We're going to talk about DOGE. We're going to talk about tariffs, and we're going to talk about things that are going on in Ukraine. I want to keep you up to date on some things today on the Vince Everett Ellison Show. All right, let's get this thing started. Man, the Democratic Party's got to be the stupidest people in the world. I mean, the nerve of these Democrats. Nerve of these Democrats. I mean, they got a shellacking in that last election. Just got the hell beat out of them. And they try to say, well, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. And one of the issues that really got them beat down was the whole transgender issue. Because most people just came to the conclusion that they were trying to press this thing on their children. They were trying to normalize it in society. I mean, they putting, men that say they men in women prisons, letting men play in women's sports, all of that. So they get the hell beat out of them. And instead of them saying, well, look, man, we got to rethink this now. This transgender thing ain't working for us too hard. Oh, no, 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 no. These ignorant jokers, they double down on it. So I'm watching the news, minding my own business like I usually do. And I look on TV, and it's got this little transgender dude by the name of Sarah, called himself Sarah McBride. He's dead named himself, so I don't know what his real name was, the name his mama gave him on his birth certificate. But Sarah McBride is in Congress now, and he's from, of course, the state of Delaware. Now, something's wrong with Delaware. We need to go up there and we need to take some holy oil and pray and march around the perimeter of the state. It ain't that big. It's the smallest state in the United States. Well, second smallest. Rhode Island is the smallest. I think Delaware is the second smallest state in the United States of America. It's got to be something wrong in Delaware because they elected Joe Biden for 50 straight years, okay? So what does Delaware do? I think they have one congressman. I think it's one in Delaware. And who do they elect? Man in a dress. Something about the Democratic Party, I want to tell y'all something. If you want yourself a successful and long-lasting, victorious job in politics, if you want to get elected as a Democrat, put on a dress. Be a man in a dress. Them suckers just happen to love men in dresses. I mean, them suckers will applaud you. They'll dance around you. They'll make you a superstar if you happen to be like Tyler Perry and play Medea. Walk around man in a dress. Martin Lawrence, Big Mama's house. Walk around in a man in a dress. Eddie Murphy and the Clumps. Walk around like a man in a dress. And then run for office. Democrats will put $100 trillion behind you. So, Sarah McBride, they got some little subcommittee hearing going on. I don't know what it was. And the guy over the committee, he's congressman named Keith Self. Keith is a Republican. So Keith Self signed for Sarah McBride to talk. So Keith Self does the proper thing. And because Sarah McBride was born a man and is still technically a man because he still got XY chromosome, and probably still got male private parts. Hell, I don't know. I never, So Congressman Self says to the congressman from Delaware, Mr. McBride. So Sarah McBride tries to go flip it back at Congressman Self and said, thank you, Madam Chairman. You call me man, I'm going to call you a woman. Self didn't say nothing. He just let that slide. So anyway, Sarah McBride starts talking. Then this other congressman by the name of Bill Keating, of course a Democrat, he wanted to get into it. I think he's the Democratic cohort, like the co-chairman, the Democrat. Turns around to Mr. Keating. Do you have any decency, sir? Do you have any decency? He stole it from the McCarthy hearing. Do you have any decency, sir? Any decency, sir? Any decency? And so instead of arguing with this idiot, Keith Self just adjourns the hearing and leaves.
I now recognize the representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ranking Member Keating, also wonderful.
Mr. Chairman, could you repeat your introduction again, please?
Yes, we have set the standard on the floor of the House, and I'm simply.
What is that standard, Mr. Chairman? Would you repeat what you just said when you introduced a duly elected representative from the United States of America? Please.
I will. The representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Mr. Chairman, you are out of order. Mr. Chairman, have you no decency? I've come to know you a little bit, but this is not decent.
We will continue this
You
hearing.
will not continue it with me unless you introduce a duly elected representative the right way.
This hearing is adjourned.
Now, the Democrats, instead of jumping on Keith Self's side or just being quiet about it and let him and Sarah McBride have it, this guy decides to come to Sarah McBride's defense to show you what the Democratic Party is. A bunch of perverts, right? Well, the Republicans got control of the House right now. I got a way to put a stop to all of this. All of it. You know what you do? Right now, there's a rule in the House. You can't come into the House of Representatives with a hat on your head. I remember when Bobby Rush, former Black Panther, poverty pimp, rabble rouser, used to be a Black Panther. When Trayvon Martin got killed, Bobby Rush was doing something. He was doing a salute to Trayvon Martin. You know, Trayvon had the hoodie on when he got killed that night. So Bobby Rush was talking. Then at the end of his speech, he put a hoodie on his head as a salute to Trayvon Martin. They grabbed Bobby Rush's old behind and escorted him out of the house just because he put a hoodie on his head. When even Omar, a Muslim woman, because they wear the Haji all the time, had to come into the house to speak. And it was part of her religious tradition. They had to pass a new rule in the house so she could wear it, because you couldn't come into the House of Representatives with your head covered. You have to wear a tie when you come in, and a jacket when you come to the House of Representatives. Now, you tell me why they can't codify that to say, if you're a man, you got to wear man's clothes, and if you're a woman, you got to wear women's clothes. They'll take care of all that. Man walking in there with a dress on. After a while, what, can you walk in there? Because I think that you're a gorilla. Can you walk in with a gorilla suit on? I think I'm a kangaroo. Can I walk in with a kangaroo suit on, hopping around the Congress? No, man, this is a harbinger. You got to put a stop to this. And you got to also say that, you don't have a right to make these congressmen lie. Can't make a man call you a ma'am when you're a sir. Can't make a guy call you sir when you're a ma'am. Can't make nobody lie. So they should codify the law to say also, you will be saluted by the gender or by the natural sex of your birth. If you were born a man, they're going to call you sir or mister. If you were born a woman, they're going to call you ma'am or Ms. If not, Congress is going to turn into a ball of confusion, just like the rest of the world. And you got to put a stop to it, because Democrats ain't got no stopping sense. They crazy. I'm telling you what they're going to do now. It's a harbinger, y'all. They are going to press this, and they're going to press it, and they're going to press it. And if they ever get power again, you're not going to be able to stop it. So everywhere in America where they got a transgender in power, that transgender is a freaking Democrat. We got one here in the state of Virginia. I think it's in the Senate. I don't know what her name is. All I know is she looked like a man in a dress. And I think that Lieutenant Governor Winsome Sears mistakenly called him. Oh, he got up and walked out the Senate. Attitude. And I think the lieutenant governor went some serious. He's running for governor. I had to apologize for something. Oh, but yeah, he got mad. He got mad because he was called sir or Mr. or something. Ladies and gentlemen, we are supporting a sick society right now. And the very fact that we have to sit here and watch this insanity in our halls of government, and nobody's sitting around like the emperor's new clothes willing to tell the truth, that is a man in a dress, and this man needs prayer, and he needs counseling. He doesn't need to be elected to office. And the fact that the Democratic Party has gotten so sick, and that black people are still so controlled by this party, that they would vote for these people. And most black people will vote for them. What did the old white Democrat tell me? You can get an N-word to drink. Poison! If you give it to them for free. And Nancy Pelosi said, you can get black people in these minority districts to vote for this glass of water if you put a D on it. I have found both those things to be true. Nancy Pelosi said that. Said it in front of the cameras with everybody watching her. That you will get these people to vote for a D, this glass of water, if you put a D on it. That's how much disrespect she has to you black Democrats. She knows that you have no scruples. She knows you have no education. She knows you're ignorant. And she knows you'll vote for a D for anybody, a transgender, an atheist. Let me tell y'all something. If a joker is running in a majority black district, most black people don't care if he's a criminal, dope addict, pedophile, liar, pervert, rogue, thief. I don't care what he is. As long as he got that D beside his name, they're going to vote for him. And that is a shame. And when you got people in government that disrespect you so much to say that out in public, and you still do it, it shows that you are exactly who they say you are. And it's a crying shame. You can't reach such people. You can't talk to them. You can't reason with them. The scariest thing in the world, though, is to put the levels of government behind such people and let them control a $7 trillion budget and nuclear weapons. Who lives and who dies. Since we see that the Democrats have a penchant to do such things, they should never get power again in this country. Never. Don't know the difference between a man and a woman? Don't want to control life and death? Think they control the weather? It's like if you're a father and you got $1 billion, you're getting ready to die, and you got 2 sons, one crazy as hell. I mean, just bat blank crazy. Out there with a dress on, running in the streets, fighting and doing dope. And you got one that seems to be respectful, knows how to do business, good man, got his head on his shoulder straight. You gonna give the keys to that the crazy bastard over here on the side that's just running like the fool? Running around in ape suits and drinking and fighting? That's what America does almost every 4 years. You look at 2 parties. One is sober. One is saying, let's get the budget in line. Let's get things in order. Let's pay our bills. Let's give more power back to the people. And you got another one that look like an insane asylum. Look like a ward in a penitentiary. Look like a cell block. Look like just a ranchette, nasty ghetto. That's who they are. And America decides to give the keys of the most powerful country in the world to that bunch of miscreants. And then when things go bad like they did go over the last 3 years, you're going to be, I don't know what happened. Hell, you gave it to a bunch of crazy folks. And then, Big Mike. And Gavin Newsom decided to start a podcast. They want to come here in the manosphere and see if they can handle themselves. Well, it has been a cluster so far. Gavin Newsom got everybody in the Democratic Party mad at him because he has the temerity to try to talk to conservatives. And Big Mike, it just ain't no happening. The more you see her, the less you like her. I mean, she's hard to look at anyway. I saw one where she had all of these, I don't know what the hell it was on her head. But if the white folks had tried to make her do that, she would have said racism. You know, if white folks had made Michelle Obama fix her hair like that, every black person in the world would have gotten mad and said, look, they're trying to make her look like a jigaboo. Instead, she voluntarily looks like a jigaboo. And the Democrats say, that's all right. Man, you ought to be ashamed of yourself to put so much respect and store behind these people. You made them rich. You made them household words. And they just treat the black community like they dogs. Talking about they're going to move back to Chicago after they leave the White House. Them suckers go straight to the Hamptons. $12 million house. And they forgot all about you Negroes. The only time y'all see them is when they need your votes. But you still got the pictures hanging in your house. Still, most of you think Obama's bad. If he ran again, you probably all vote for him again. 99% of the black vote would probably go to him. Well, I hope not. Voting for black. Didn't care what he stood for. Why you voting for Obama? He black. But if a white man says he's voting for a candidate because he's white, oh, he a racist. The racism double standard, y'all, what white people saw in the South, they're being racist and being ignorant, was keeping them socially and economically behind the rest of the world. Education system was trash, the economy was trash, the social structure was trash. They made movies about how barbaric and archaic the South was. Poor whites and poor blacks running around barefoot, teeth rotting out, children had worms, malnutrition, and they had a few rich white folks on top. Same system is working in black America now, race. And when the conservative whites down south let the race issue go, the South started flourishing. It's a weight around your psyche, around your soul. And God is not going to bless you as long as you live in that world. He's not going to do it. So black people are still captivated by race. Still, the only people in America where race is everything. Asians don't care much about it. Jews don't care much about it. White people try to stay away from it. People of Indian descent try to stay away from it. Oh, but when it comes down to black folks, race is everything. And we're exactly where our white counterparts were 100 years ago, at the bottom of every socioeconomic statistic in America and in the industrialized world, because we are still too concentrated on race. And you cannot go forward being concerned about things such as that. God will not bless you as long as you're concerned about things like that, looking behind you all the time and not looking forward. This is why your rear view mirror is so small, but your front windshield is so large. You look forward much more than you're supposed to look back. Black folks look nothing but backward, and they can't go forward. I mean, everything you read about black America still talking about slavery. Slavery was over 1865. That was 160 years ago. And we're talking about the effects and trauma of something we never even had to endure. It's ridiculous. The trauma of slavery. Were you a slave? Well, no. Well, how can you have trauma from slavery and you were never a slave? It's like saying you got the trauma of being molested as a child because your granddaddy was molested 4 generations ago. Were you molested as a child? Well, no, I wasn't. But my great-great-great-granddaddy was. Well, how does that affect you? I don't know. and they give you this crutch to lean on. Gavin Newsom, Michelle Obama are good at giving black folks those crutches. It ain't your fault. It's the white man. I know that white men feel so powerful to understand that they can hold a big, strong black joker like me down. It's the white man. It sure is. You stand back there and let me take care of you. So Michelle Obama comes out with her podcast to tell black women to leave their husbands, abort their children, become lesbians. Support illegal immigration and no borders down there in Mexico, so they bring on the fentanyl and shame before God. So if anybody out there watch Big Mike's podcast, you have my sympathy. Because if you spent an hour looking at that woman, you probably got brain damage. Looking and listening to her. Because I haven't watched it. I've just seen the reviews on it, and they say it was a cluster. But I've seen pictures of her on it, and that's all I needed to see. I can't watch that, man. I mean, if you wanted to get some secrets out of me, I didn't think it was any torture that could make me talk except having to watch Michelle Obama for an hour. And if you made me watch that for an hour, I'd probably give it up in about 10 minutes. So let's talk about Ukraine now. Well, Zelensky finally capitulated to Trump. You know why? Because Russia is wearing his behind out. And I saw some videos on YouTube where these jokers are actually snatching men off the street. Dude walking his dog, they come grab him, snatch him off the street, throw him in the car. Take him to the front line. Joker come back either dead or crazy.
Вообще ужас какой.
Он спал.
Боже, ужас. Боже, они какие-то ненормальные. И как это?
Ты посмотри, валяет тот за ногу своих.
Да ну блин,
When you are in a war and you can't get your own people to fight for you, you've lost. You've lost. When you start having to kidnap your own people to get them to go on the front lines to fight against an enemy that's invading you, you've lost. It's done. When Trump said that Zelensky was a tyrant, a dictator, well, they had elections that were supposed to come up while the war was going on, and Zelensky said no. Now, I think they said that the Constitution said something that they weren't supposed to have an election during the war, but they could have overrode that. We had an election during the Civil War. Abraham Lincoln against George McClellan. He had fired George McClellan as his top general. And McClellan came back for revenge. And the Democrats nominated George McClellan against Lincoln. McClellan said that he was going to end the war and let the South have all the slaves back. Lincoln stood solid on what he believed to be true, and that was that the Union was supposed to come together, and he was going to hold true to the Emancipation Proclamation. Lincoln beat McClellan in a landslide. Zelensky shutting down churches. The Russian Orthodox Church, you know why? Because they disagree with him. Anybody that disagrees with Zelensky gets shut down. He's unelected. He shuts down, he's tearing down churches. He's grabbing folks off the street, making them go up there to fight. His country's starving to death. Russia's on the march. He rolling around looking like he was got out to bed with pajamas on and not shaving. And it's difficult now to get Vladimir Putin to sign up for a ceasefire because he got Zelensky on the run. He also knows that the United States of America is getting tired of giving Ukraine close to $100 billion a year for a war that cannot be won. Putin is not a fool. So you've killed probably about 100,000 of Putin's troops. You cost him all this money, and now you want to say, okay, I quit. Let's call it a day, Putin. You can have what you got, and I'm going to go ahead on and I'm going to just chill and be the leader of Ukraine. Putin is saying, nah, Putin might be saying, no, man. You're going to pay for this. No. You don't just get a chance to go back to Kiev and keep what you got. I got you on the run. I know your troops don't want to fight. I know you're running out of men. Yeah. I know the United States of America is tired of giving you $100 billion a year because they need that money to seal their border, take care of their own people, pay down their deficit. Now you tell me, what's going to keep Vladimir Putin from going all the way into Kiev? Now you see, don't you? That's how Putin is thinking. I'll tell you, the only thing that'll keep him from taking the whole thing, and if he's smart, and I believe he is, he'll take my advice. The closer he gets to Western Europe, the more hostile the people in Ukraine get to his invasion. The outer parts of Ukraine that he's taken were mostly Russian-speaking. The closer he gets to Kiev and Europe, the people start speaking another language and have a different culture than the Russians. And this is when, even if he takes over those areas, it's going to be years of conquest. You're going to have guerrilla warfare. You're going to have this. You're going to have that. He can take what he got and he can keep it and probably not have a problem with it. But the closer he gets to Western Europe, the more protest, the more fighting, the more insurgency he's going to have. He'll have to kill everybody over there. And I don't think it's worth that. But he's going to make Zelensky pay for what he did. And I think one of the last things that Vladimir Putin might ask for is for Zelensky to step down. I really do. I think he's going to say, yeah, we can have peace. Zelensky has to step down. And somebody else has to step in that role as leader of Ukraine. I'm not going to ever have to talk to this man again after all of the turmoil and all of the tragedy that he's caused. I bet Vladimir Putin is going to demand that Zelensky steps down. And he should. Man is a menace. He's a moron. Should have never got this far. So you guys look out in the next 2 or 3 weeks to see what happens here. See if Vladimir Putin tells Trump that the last thing we're going to do before we sign this peace deal, you got to tell Zelensky he's got to go. That's my last demand. And if not, we're going to keep coming. So that's what's going on in Ukraine. Now let's talk about these tariffs for a little while. People talking about Trump and the tariffs. Okay, y'all, this is pretty easy. United States of America, over the past 30, 40 years, the federal government, with all of its laws and regulations, have damn near made it impossible to do business here, especially if you're a large business. Small businesses, a lot of the laws don't come down on them. But once you start getting a large group of people working for you, 50, 100, yeah, the federal laws kick in. And you have so many regulations looking down your throat when it comes down to OSHA regulations, anti-discrimination regulations, accommodating people, LGBTQ and gender stuff. Now, so much stuff that a lot of the businesses said, you know what? It's easier to do business overseas. So you had India, and you'd have China, and you'd have Mexico come say, man, you ain't got to worry about all that aggravation. Move your factory down here. Move it over here. It's much cheaper and it's much easier to do business in our countries. And then ship it back to America to sell it. Well, Trump said, no, that's going to stop. if you sell it here, you're going to make it here. And plus, when these companies moved, they left a lot of people who had worked there for years in jeopardy. People that have any jobs up in the Rust Belt, up in Ohio, up in Indiana, where J.D. Vance is from, J.D. Vance is from up in Ohio. He wrote in his book, Hillbilly Elegy, about how this had affected that area and how it just decimated it. People started getting on opioids, started getting on drugs, suicides. Everything just kind of fell apart. Trump promised he'd bring those jobs back. How does he do it? He says he puts these tariffs up. He said, if you make it over there, you cannot sell it in our country. We're going to make it so expensive that people are going to buy American and not buy your stuff. So if you want to sell your stuff here, you got to make your stuff here. If you make it here, guess what starts to happen? These people start getting jobs again. It's very simple. I'm from a small town called Brownsville, Tennessee. Brownsville was always one of the poorest areas in the whole South. It was just poor. It was agricultural. They had cotton fields. That was about it. And finally, Ford is making all of these electric vehicles. And Ford decided to build a plant in Brownsville to make these electric trucks and these batteries. $6 billion investment. Thousands of new jobs, making good wages. It's going to change Haywood County and Brownsville forever. Called it the Blue Oval. And it's changing the landscape. I went down there last year to visit and try to get a hotel room. Couldn't get any hotels because they were all sold out because of the people coming down to work on the Blue Oval. The room I finally got cost me about $500 on one night. Yeah. In Jackson. They don't have the housing to support the people who are building it, so they got these RVs all over the place, RV camps all over the place for the people that are building the Blue Oval. It's amazing to see what industry can do when they build here in America, when the incentives are here to build here in America, how the industry comes back and how it uplifts the lives of the people around the community. This is what Trump's trying to do. He's trying to give incentives for all of these big industries who are making products to sell in America to make them here, to give jobs here. And people are saying, well, the prices might go up a little bit. Well, they very well might. But these people deserve to work. These people are going to pay taxes. These people are going to give back to the economy. And we believe that as we bring these jobs back and as America grows, not only will the economy expand, but the prices will go down behind this because nobody makes it better than the American worker. That's the theory behind the tariffs. And, of course, Democrats don't want this. You know why? That's going to DOGE. Elon Musk, the Department of Government Efficiency. Democrats are raising all kind of hell. You know why? Because they want the economy to implode. That has been their plan. Listen now. They know you can't run $2 trillion deficits in perpetuity and survive. So what has been their plan? Their plan has been simple. We are going to keep running up these deficits until finally America is going to default on its debts. When America defaults on its debts, the economy is going to fall apart. When the economy falls apart, people are going to cry for somebody to come in and fix it. The Democrats are going to come in and fix it with a communist state. Yeah, you see what it's all about now? Look, nobody's this stupid. No family is this stupid. You can't have a family where you're making $100,000 a year and then you're borrowing $50,000 every year. You pay your bills, you got to borrow another $50. Pay your bills, you got to borrow another $50. It'll destroy you. That's the United States of America. And the Democrats will not stop it. And anytime you try to pass a budget to stop it, they'll filibuster it. As our economy grows, they grow the government. It's supposed to say we stop right here, and the economy is going to grow, and we're going to get in more tax money. And as we get in more tax money, we'll pay down the deficit. No. If the economy grows 2%, they're going to expand the government by 6%. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? You're trying to implode the government. And you have conservatives always complaining about it. Man, we have to stop this. Democrats don't care. So right now, they wanted to kill Elon Musk. They wanted to kill DOGE because it's going against their plan to implode this economy. Because the only way they can get us to Marxism and communism is that this economy has to implode upon itself. And the only way that will happen is through our radical, crazy spending. We do not have a revenue problem, y'all. We have a spending problem. We bring in close to $5 trillion a year in revenue, but we spend close to $7. And we've just decided to just stop spending money, let the economy keep expanding. The government will soon start bringing in $7 trillion a year. Then no deficit. Then we'll bring in $9 trillion. We start paying down the debt. And then within a few years, the country will be completely out of debt. That's how a sane person would see this. So the Democrats are either crazy or they want to see this country implode. There's no other two ways around it. So when you see them out there complaining about Elon Musk, when you see them out there complaining about DOGE, when you see them out there complaining about cutting down the deficit and looking for people that are gaming the system and taking money out who don't deserve it, understand what their true aim and true goal is: to implode this economy. Shut down this nation and then rebuild it and make America look like every ghetto in America, in the whole nation. They want all of America to be Chicago, to be Detroit, to be Memphis, New Orleans, Portland. Every enclave, every state, because they will keep their power. And they'll turn America into a hell. Well, what have I told you? A Democrat heaven is an American hell. Hell, they still got Marxist professors on college campuses now trying to talk about how great Marxism was, and every place that's ever been tried has been destroyed. You know why? Because that's what they want. Oh, they see Cuba as a haven. They're still driving cars made in the 1950s. North Korea, they see it as a haven. You got starving to death, rolling blackouts. They see the ghettos as a haven. Family breakup, apostate religion, drug abuse, crime. So when you see the Democratic Party fighting against any type of government cuts, you know it's because they want to see this country go bankrupt. Because when this country go bankrupt, that's when they can take power and turn it into a communist country, which is what they are after and which is what they want. Don't doubt me. I'm going to give you these briefings every now and again so you can stay up on what's happening in the world. So you can have your eyes watching these no good, dirty, slimy, crazy, demented, thuggish. Oh, man, I can't think of any more epitaphs right now to talk about these people, but they're just horrible Democrats. I want you to watch them. Never trust them. Because every single solitary week, I'm going to be here to wake you up. So join me again for another edition of the Vince Everett Ellison Show. All right, friends, Vince Everett Ellison is here. I want you to go to my website, and on my website, you're going to see a lot of great stuff, man. You're going to see that we got t-shirts, we got caps, you got my books, my documentaries, you got all kinds of stuff on VinceSpeaksTruth.com. Go there. We're dropping new t-shirts, we're dropping new merchandise. My new book, The End of Tolerance, is there. The End of Tolerance. Make sure you get it, make it #1. If you got my first 3, get The End of Tolerance. It's just as good. And it's telling us we have to end our tolerance with these leftists, these Democrats. We can no longer allow them to sexually groom our children. We can no longer allow them to castrate little boys and call them little girls, run God out of the public square, take away our guns, take away our sovereignty. No longer allow it. So go on VinceSpeaksTruth.com. That is VinceSpeaksTruth.com. Hit merchandise. You'll see the t-shirts. You'll see the caps. You'll see the books. You'll see the documentaries. You'll see it all. And let's keep this ball rolling. God bless you.